A lot of married couples today are not listening to their spouses to understand. They are listening to their spouses to form their defense. They are listening to their spouses to evaluate what their spouses are saying, to analyze what their spouses are saying, so that they will find a loophole to blame their spouses. Make sure you stop rubbing your views on your spouse. A lot of times, married couples want to force their views on their spouses. That is a wrong thing to do. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Transforming Marriages with Uju Onwuzliga. I am thrilled to be your host today. As a husband, as a wife, have you ever found yourself asking, why do I always have misunderstanding with my spouse? If you do, you are not alone. You are among the hundreds, millions and hundreds of millions of couples all over the world. So in this video, I'll be providing you with solutions as to what we can do to fix this misunderstanding in your marriage so that it will end up becoming a thing of the past. Have you subscribed to this channel? I want you to subscribe to this channel. When you subscribe to this channel, you are literally inspiring me, motivating me to do more. And I guarantee you, I will always bring value to your doorstep. So what can we do to fix this misunderstanding in our marriages today? There are 5 things that we can do to solve this misunderstanding problems in our marriages. The first thing we can do is to listen to understand. A lot of married couples today are not listening to their spouses to understand. They are listening to their spouses to form their defense. They are listening to their spouses to evaluate what their spouses are saying, to analyze what their spouses are saying, so that they will find a loophole to blame their spouses. So I am encouraging you in this video, always listen to understand your spouse, listen to understand what they are trying to say. And when you are confused, you can ask clarifying questions that will enable you to understand what your spouse is saying. A lot of times we have misunderstanding with our spouses because we fail to understand what they are trying to say. You cannot understand what they are saying if you are not listening to understand. So the first thing you need to do is to avoid defending yourself or listening to defend yourself or listening to make your own point of views or listening to discredit your spouse. The first thing you need to do is to listen to understand. And that leads us to the second thing. The second thing you need to do as a husband, as a wife, is to make sure you stop rubbing your views on your spouse. A lot of times, married couples want to force their views on their spouses. That is a wrong thing to do. That you don't force your views on your spouse. When you force your views on your spouse, you end up having misunderstanding with them, and that is a wrong thing to do. The best thing you need to do as a husband is to respect the views of your wives. As a wife, respect the views of your husband. When two of you are learning to respect the views of each other, you will see that you will never have misunderstanding challenge again in your marriage. So the third thing I want you to do is to avoid being accusatory. Stop sounding accusatory. A lot of married couples today are always sounding accusatory. They are always sounding as if they are blaming their spouses. They are sounding as if they are confronting their spouses. They are being confrontational. They are not communicating. I'll give you an example. When your husband comes home late, a lot of times, as a wife, you are tempted to say to them, you are very irresponsible. Why do you come home late? Can a responsible man, can a responsible husband come home late? When you speak to your husband like that, you're being accusatory. And there's no way you want your husband to listen to you. There's no way he will understand what you are trying to say. And one thing I tell couples all over the world is this: whenever you're communicating to your spouse, you must make sure that in your communication, that you want to achieve result, you want to achieve your desired end. So when you're communicating and you are communicating not to achieve your desired goal or your desired result, you're not communicating. You're just opening your mouth to speak. The only way you can achieve results in your communication is when you communicate in a way that will make your spouse to understand you and see your point of view. So instead of accusing your husband or sounding accusatory and saying to them, you are very irresponsible, how can a responsible man come home late all the time? You can reframe it and say something like this: my husband, whenever you come home late, I do not feel relaxed. I am always asking myself, is this man okay? Is there anything happening to this man? So I don't want to put myself in a position I will always be worried. So as a result of that, I want you to reconsider coming home early, because when you come home early, I am very relaxed. I will not keep wondering what is happening to you. When you speak in this manner, you are not being accusatory. And on top of that, you're also speaking in a way that will deliver result for you. Speak in a way that will help you to achieve your desired goal. Don't just speak for speaking sake. Don't just communicate for communicating sake. So the fourth thing I want you to do is to always acknowledge and accept your mistakes. I have seen a lot of men today that will stick to their guns, that will say to their wives, I am not at fault. And meanwhile, they are at fault. Whenever you refrain from accepting your mistakes and acknowledging them, you always end up having misunderstanding with your spouse. So what you need to do is to always acknowledge and accept your mistakes. When you do that, you'll see that the issue of misunderstanding won't be there anymore. And the fifth thing I want you to do is to always speak calmly and respectfully. I didn't just say speak calmly, because it is possible for someone to speak calmly to his or her spouse, but that person is not being respectful. So to achieve result, to avoid misunderstanding, always convey your message in a very calm and respectful manner. If you do that, your spouse will listen to you, and they will not only listen to you, they will also understand what you are trying to convey. So in this video, I'm saying to you that when you take these 5 actions, when you listen to understand your spouse, when you do not rub your views on them, when you refrain from being accusatory, when you always acknowledge and accept your mistakes, and when you speak in a calm and respectful manner, you will see that misunderstanding will be a thing of the past. Till I see you next, keep supporting your spouses to be the best version of themselves and not the other way around. Enjoy the journey of your marriage.